A lot of the good YouTubers to kind of gain those heights. We didn't see too many of them in the top 8, actually only one in particular. And then you've got a player like ARYX, who is actually an Alvaro subscriber and has done very well for himself.
That's the amazing story about ARYX right now, where this guy just turns up.
Yeah.
You know, he turns up because he just loves the game. You know, it's in the area. He decides to just, on a whim, go to the show, and just like that, he finds himself as the #1 seed going into this tournament. So, I mean, he's clearly very nervous. Even though he says, you know, I think maybe I got a bit lucky. I mean, he's here. He's #1 for a reason. You know what I mean?
And we're already getting into game #1 here of this quarterfinals. It's the first to 3 wins. And we can already see that ARYX has opened up with an Elixir. And Pekka down towards the bottom here to try and defend this left lane against the Ice Wizard.
So almost immediately goes in for the Elixir Pump, just kind of give himself some of those resources. I love the idea of going in for the Bomb Tower, just churn out some of that range damage. But now here we have a Pekka charging into the left lane. That Inferno Tower, though, I mean, without an accompaniment, is going to kind of soak up that damage.
I was going to say, you say charging. Pekka's not very fast. Let's give him that, all intended. And also the Ice Wizard placed in front of him, so not behind for the Pekka to actually tank there. So Inferno is going to be able to take down that pretty quickly, but he did use poison during all of that, so it was able to do a little bit of damage to that Inferno Tower.
That's a good charge of the Hog Rider right there. I mean, that really is the benefit of these defensive kind of tower-based cards, that they act just basically as a distraction, you know? I mean, if they're not attacking your tower, that's only ever a good thing.
And of course, yeah, as you say, those defensive structures, very useful. Ice Wizard, as well as Goblins, deployed here against Pekka to start off. And the Inferno Tower again. To be honest, some of these weaker minions tanking for the Inferno Tower and the Ice Wizard are actually very, very powerful here to be able to take out that unit, since actually we're seeing ARYX not really back up that Pekka with anything on the push.
That was a good use of a Bomb Tower right there, but I mean, it's going to go straight through. That's going to sort of handle the Ice Wizard, and it's kind of reserving cards, right? One of the things that we can see NAAZIME's doing is he's saving that Inferno Tower for every single time he sees a larger health unit, you know, just to kind of put it down when needed, just to avoid that kind of big spec damage. And as you can see, they're both doing a really good job. We've got 1 minute, almost 1 minute left on the clock, and these towers are setting pretty, almost full health all round.
Valkyrie placed down towards the back here for NAAZIME, as he's getting poisoned down once again here, which will take him down slowly, but Hog Rider to the right-hand side.
This is where things might get a little bit crazy. Now we've reached that 60-second on the clock situation where the Elixir is going to start to double.
Powerful combo, Hog Rider and Freeze on that right-hand side there. It's going to do a lot of damage towards that tower, and as you can already see, the health here in favor of NAAZIME so far. You got to remember, again, it's the best first to 3 wins. So,
oh, here comes the 3 Musketeers charging on the left. Lovely use of the Valkyrie just to go in there and get that AoE damage right in a circle. Here comes a big push on the side of NAAZIME.
It was a big commitment on the 3 Musketeers, because that's 9 Elixir he actually uses for that. And did he get too much damage done on the left-hand side? I don't think so. NAAZIME actually handled that really, really well.
Here comes the poison just to pressure that right-hand tower even more. Skeleton's going to get cleaned up nice and reliably right there. I mean, the bomb tower's going to be going down. We have 15 seconds left. When this goes in sudden death, that right-hand tower is going to be very vulnerable.
Big commitment on the left-hand side. Freezes those 3 Musketeers once again. Brings in the Valkyrie to bring them down as well. And that is a good cleanup there for NAAZIME. Once again, you know, at the start of this game, he's really got the upper hand. And he's putting on good pressure. Valkyrie on the left, Hog Rider on the right. This is great for NAAZIME.
Poison narrowly missing that. Very unfortunate. Here comes the Hog Rider paired with the Ice Mage. So, I mean, that's going to be some distant damage. Nice use from the Elixir Pump just to tank that tower.
Yeah, very, very important there, so he doesn't lose that one. It's very low. I'm now into overtime. So once anybody loses 1 tower, it is over. Commitment on the left-hand side once again from these 3 Musketeers and Frozen. And the Ice Wizard with the Valkyrie is going to clean him up.
That was a nice combination right there. Valkyrie running in. That's going to tank some damage. Good amount of hit points just like that. One-shotting those skeletons right there. Hog running on the side. No accompaniment. There's an Ice Wizard going in, trying to go for the defense.
And the poison. Oh, the Elixir Pump goes down to try and tank some of this damage while this is going on. It's very important that you threw down this Elixir Pump so that it doesn't get to it. But another poison once again. That tower on the right is so low for ARYX.
I mean, the thing is, although the right-hand tower on the side of ARYX is weak, 1 good push will cleanly take away that 1,200 hit points on the side of NAAZIME's left tower. So it could still go either way. We have 2 minutes left on the clock.
Pekka launched on the right to tank some of the damage, and once again, Bomb Tower been thrown down. So you can just kind of alleviate some of the pressure here. You can already see the units being drawn to the middle, so they've got a longer distance to actually go to these towers and tank up some of that damage.
And I love that patience on NAAZIME. Again, we haven't seen an Inferno Tower since the last time we saw a Giant Pekka, so it's all about patience and reserving the units. All Musketeers and an Ice Mage on the side. It's a space race.
I think he's going to take it on with the Hog Rider for the freeze. Great chance there. NAAZIME takes game #1.
We already have some of our poppers going off. I mean, this is game 1 of the set. I mean, we haven't even concluded the set yet. And these guys are getting excited. What a way to kickstart this top 8 team.
The crowd goes wild. What a way to start indeed. And NAAZIME coming in as rank #8. You can see the emotion coursing through him there at that moment.
He's going to have to get this together. I mean, that was still game one.
Yeah.
This is a 1st-to-3 setting all round.
That was brilliant.
I mean, it was like, you can tell the Three Musketeers putting all of the elixir, committing to that play on the left-hand side, but just like that, Hog Rider running in. Surprise attack.
Now, one thing to note is that for ARYX, Three Musketeers throughout this tournament has been his most favorite card. Like, he has been using that clearly to great effect to actually gain himself rank #1, but in that game just there, didn't have as much effect. We saw NAAZIME controlling it very, very well, able to thwart it with Valkyries, good placement of the Valkyries as soon as he comes onto their side of the river, which shut it down pretty handily.
And also those freezes. And it's
freezes
reserving cards. I mean, it was just almost immediately quite a lot of players in these upper-end matchmakings where they go for quite a preemptive Inferno Tower, and sometimes people go, was that a good idea, showing that he has it, or, you know, where's he use it maybe too early? Every single time there, we saw the tanky single damage unit straight in with the Inferno Tower.
Now into game 2, one important thing to note is that the winner sticks on with their current deck. The loser from that previous game can switch up deck if they want. They have 3 decks coming into this first to 3 wins. Let's get into the second game.
The thing about this setting, which is good, is that we might not necessarily tell if he switched anything in the deck until he plays the card he switched with.
Well, we can already see a bit of a switch up here.
Giant skeleton. All about that giant skeleton. Even if the skeleton goes down, that's going to clean up that tower. But right now, I mean, this is a very expensive play right now.
Hog Rider on the left. The Ice Wizard slowing down the Valkyrie as well as the Hog Rider, but the bomb tower's been thrown down just to be able to tank that up a little bit.
It's a lot of defensive play. I mean, the bomb tower seems to be... We actually spoke to some of these players, and they said that the bomb tower was a very popular unit among a lot of these guys.
I mean, and look at what we're already seeing here from ARYX. He's got 2 elixir pumps down already, meaning that he's committing to the later stages of the game. The longer this goes on, the bit more of an advantage he will have in terms of that elixir efficiency.
Like they're going in for those 3 Musketeers, putting them straight at the back of the base to give himself the highest chance possible to rebuild that elixir, but nice use of the poison. That's going to almost clear up 2 of those units, doing nice damage all round, but also catching that elixir pump early on.
The 3 Musketeers did a lot there for the defense, and also you can see how he positioned them behind the middle tower, which means that they do split up naturally, allowing for some potential pushback on the right-hand side, whilst he's cleaning up the left as well.
And he goes in for the Dracula. They just has to take out those sort of troops on the ground, going in by himself. I mean, he's not going to get much tower damage here, but I mean, just clearing out those units just like that. Even if the Valkyrie goes down, he's taking out those skeletons, so not a bad trade.
But it's such a good move for ARYX, really. Like, the 1 elixir for the skeletons to reroute the Valkyrie so that you're not taking tower damage. It's really nice, efficient use of the minions here.
I think that's one of the benefits of the cheap units, not necessarily to do, do damage, but just get rid of units, to protect your tower. 60 seconds left on the clock. Here comes the point where the elixir is going to double once again.
Minion horde, good efficiency out of ARYX there. Throw down the arrows onto it very, very quickly. Pig brings that down. Once again, the small skeletons to kind of delay any push. The Hog Rider didn't even get any damage done to that bomb tower.
Speaking of push, here comes the big push. We have Musketeers on the left-hand side. Good tactical freeze there. That was a very crucial freeze in with Valkyrie to triple that damage as well.
NAAZIME is on top of it. Freezes as well as Valkyries for defense. And then we also saw him in the previous game using the freeze as well as the Hog Rider for offensive purposes as well. So far, his freeze game has been on point.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing about these spells, using them defensively when you need them. It's giving these guys so many good results already. And just like that, saving the Inferno Tower for when, once again, we see things like the giant skeleton run in, bam, straight in with the Inferno Tower, just to protect the tower. And just like that, 10 seconds left, barely any damage done to his towers.
Exactly. And for ARYX, when is this elixir collection going to pay off here? He's going to be pressured on the right-hand side, cleaned up with arrows, Hog Rider down again, bomb tower straight on in with the distraction of the skeletons there.
Now, here's the crucial point. I mean, this is 100% anybody's game at this point. We have 2 minutes 50 left on the clock. Towers both sitting on a lot of health, but I think we might see one kind of giant push. These high damage units, which we saw do so much damage last time. Are we going to see that again?
And that's a big commitment once again on the right-hand side for the 3 Musketeers. The freeze lockdown, but he doesn't have Valkyrie up just yet, so he's going to have to throw a minion horde on towards those to clean them fully up, and that gets cleaned up. Now the giant skeleton over to the right-hand side with that bomb.
But the minion horde did just go down, so he waited for the minions to go down. That's when he went in for the giant skeleton. So the question is, what situation are you finding right now? Hog Rider running in. Again, there's the patience in saving those skeletons to distract the Hog Rider.
Perfect patience, you're right. And not too much. He's going to calm down for a moment. Both players assessing their situations.
I like how these guys are staying quite composed. We haven't really seen any crucial mistakes so far. It's just patience, waiting for each other to make a play. But at one point, these guys are going to have to try and get something going. Otherwise, I mean, it's going to go into a draw situation.
Got to be very, very careful here in this situation because, again, 1 tower lost in overtime means that the game is over. Minion Horde coming through the middle, but the Ice Wizard, as well as arrows, is going to clean that up.
And just like that, both players using their poison just to try and take out those tower units.
Slowly bring them down. I mean, they don't really have much spell damage here directly to do to towers, so they are slowly breaking each other down after not being able to break the river properly with these Hog Rider attempts or even the freezes.
Speaking of freeze, are we going to see a freeze right now? Has he got in his hand, and has he been saving it? That is the question.
That's a big push. Actually, that's got 3 Musketeers behind it as well. This could be a good opportunity
and there's the freeze, saving it once again for those 3 Musketeer push.
Yeah, really, really good stuff to be able to save that. So important. Arrow's going to clean it up. Still only the Ice Wizard available.
And right again, and here comes the Hog Rider with the accompaniment Goblin. The question is, how is this going to turn out?
Not too much damage done overall, just great reactions overall. Still, again with the poison. We've got 1 minute left on the clock here, and this might go down to full poisons. This is
where the bulk of the tower damage is coming from, right?
Yes.
I mean, just constantly putting down the poison.
Nothing is getting to it. Between the freezes from NAAZIME and the bomb towers coming out from ARYX, and Minion Horde going to get shot down, but Valkyrie on the right-hand side, not even really going to get too much either. Actually, how much does he have available to him against this Hog Rider? I don't think he has the tower. It's going to get through.
Is he going to get 1 extra hit?
Oh,
There's the freeze! Amazing freeze! What a play right there! NAAZIME going in, saving the freeze, protecting that Hog Rider by its final piece of health.
As we said, every single time, he is so good about saving his freezes for exactly the right moment. Not only using them defensively, but using them aggressively here with the Freeze Hog Rider as well. It's a very, very strong combo that ARYX now has to truly respect because he is 1 game away from being eliminated.
I think there's 1 word for that situation: clutch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, just that magical moment, using the freeze at that, I mean, like 1 more chunk of health, that Hog Rider would have gone down, and he was seconds away from biting the dust and potentially going it back into another tie situation, but that fantastic freeze right at the end. Amazing play. But I mean, again, this is a 1st to 3 situation. He's 2-0 up. I think he's obviously waiting around. We might see another bit of a deck change. These guys, just to remind you guys, everyone starts off and has always used the same cards that are a set level.
Yes.
You know, for this even playing field. So it's a matter of putting a deck together, but I believe it might be a maximum of 3 decks.
3 decks going into this, correct?
Going into this top 8 setting. So I mean, and going straight back in. So he might not have made much of a crucial change. We didn't really see a huge change before there, but I think maybe it was the Giant Skeleton. I can't remember if we actually saw a Giant Skeleton in game 1.
Let's see if he's going to actually do something here in game number 3 in this quarterfinal, because NAAZIME is 1 match away from advancing on into the semifinals, guaranteeing himself to be in the money already. And so far, deck's looking pretty similar from ARYX. We'll see if anything further develops.
But the question is, being in this situation, what does it do to your gaming posture? I mean, you know, you're 1 game away from being in the money. And on the contrary to that, you could also potentially be 1 game away from losing at 3-0. So, you know, what do you do in this situation?
He's got to be careful. NAAZIME's been really, really on top of it. We're going to see Elixir Collector being thrown down once again. So ARYX is going to be investing towards the later stages of this game. Ice was going to slow these units down for a little bit, but he doesn't have much of a reaction here. This Hog Rider is getting
nice
some
solo job right here. Almost half of that.
Oh!
And a freeze once again. We see the tried and tested combo. Just like that. That tower almost went down immediately.
That's really worrying now. Very worrying, because ARYX is going to have to focus a lot of his attention on this left-hand side. And if we see him later on having 3 Musketeers and commit somewhere else, he might have to completely ignore that option unless he sees a massive, massive opener in the NAAZIME defense.
Now, this is what we didn't see in game 2, the P.E.K.K.A. push. Now, I mean, we know that he has a freeze. We know he saves it for the clutch situation. I mean, we could very well just see a freeze here just to prevent the P.E.K.K.A. and also to give him some free damage if he has it in hand.
He needs damage to follow up the P.E.K.K.A., but I'm not sure if he really has much elixir to really do that. So that's going to fall. And not really have much of an opportunity to get too much done there so far.
It's a stalemate right now, but it is a scary stalemate. I mean, he's got 2 elixir pumps down, so that is going to help him potentially get some kind of push, but once again, we see people over-push potentially. Here comes a Hog Rider once again with the Goblins behind, using that bomb tower to get it, and again, freezing it! We actually see this quite a lot, where it's just the high damage mobile units and a freeze to literally just prevent anything from hurting it. So I mean, the question is, what is ARYX going to do to counter that freeze?
Ice Wizard with his choice in hand, he has to slow it down. Okay, P.E.K.K.A.'s out, but the Ice Wizard is going to go in front of it. That means that the placement's not exactly ideal for him here. He would rather that P.E.K.K.A. be tanking things. As you can see, the Ice Wizard already firing on towards that, and even Minion Horde can be used. Triple 3 Musketeers, though, thrown down on the right-hand side.
That was a very important arrow right there as well, just to take that Minion Horde out of the equation when that tower was as weak as it was. There was nothing there to defend it.
And we have double 2 times elixir at the moment, so that's why you can get away with 3 Musketeers a little easier towards that moment. But we're going to go into overtime by the looks of things. Unless there is an answer to this Hog Rider, we'll throw down an Elixir Collector in front of it, though.
Nice use of the skeletons there. I mean, here comes the surrounding damage. That's one of the benefits from that situation. But I mean, right now, every single time he seems to get a poison, it just ticks away so reliably. I mean, there's 470 hit points.
Or freezed onto them. Minion Horde's going to clean that up as well. So very, very important. Arrows will fend that off. But that's a lot of damage that he has.
Wait, there's a mage who's uncontested. He's going to do some chipping as well. And here comes in with the poison. I mean, this tower may not necessarily go down. How much damage is going to get done?
The wall play comes out from ARYX, and NAAZIME with the thumbs up knows that he's probably got this.
Oh,
it's so low. He could finish that off with any poison. All he has to do is stall out and throw another poison on that tower, and he's got it.
I mean, at this point, I mean, always really called it GG's. Once again, saving the Inferno Tower for damaging that P.E.K.K.A and taking him out of the equation. Here comes the units just to defend. I think he's just going to spend units some way.
He's all in on those Musketeers. They have to do something. They get frozen, though. Minion Horde's going to clean them up as well. And a poison must be cycling around there.
Just like that, a 3-0 victory for NAAZIME over ARYX.
Very well played here. You can see the emotion on his face as well as he moves on to the semi-finals. And yeah, what play. Like, such good control over the game. You could see that he had an answer for almost everything ARYX was throwing at him. It was so well played.
Here comes his friends up there, giving him some well-deserved congratulations. It was pretty much bottom seed versus top seed, but a 3-0 victory right there. And that's the amazing thing about when these guys are playing for these qualifying places, it's basically just a matter of, you know, it's that kind of one-game situation. You win, you move on. You win, you move on. Here comes a situation where adaptation